Okay, so this is classic GSE government-sponsored enterprises, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac snafulery. That stands for situation normal, all effed up, Hillary. So here's how it goes. HUD and their inability to do anything but shoot themselves in their feet with their policies. Well, let's just say, Joanna, they kept the streak alive.
They certainly have. HUD came out with a program directed at reducing costs and thus the barriers to entry, aimed at helping underrepresented minority groups. All of these latest rounds of well-intended, ineffective decrees can be found in HUD's 2022 Equitable Housing Finance Plan.
Okay, and by the way, this is quite extensive. They've done a lot of work, thus spent a lot of money putting this whole thing together. One of the changes made by HUD was to get rid of all that costly title insurance that protected borrowers in favor of AOLs. No, not that AOL. This acronym stands for the less costly and less comprehensive attorney's opinion letter in lieu of title insurance. Like the old AOL, they both stink. Now, the thinking is, with lower closing costs, because you don't have your title insurance now, more underserved and minority groups will see increased home ownership rates. Never mind the fact that, by and large, underserved minority groups don't have a snowball's chance of affording these overpriced homes. The sales pitch would go something like this. Hey, if you didn't make enough money to qualify, this is great. You wouldn't have to pay for title insurance. Sucks to be you guys. Further, for the very few who do qualify or an in lieu AOL, what could possibly go wrong with not getting title insurance to protect you? My God.
Well, an owner's title insurance policy covers property survey errors, boundary disputes, errors on the property deed, building code violations by the previous owner, conflicting wills, claims by an ex-spouse
Never happens.
didn't sign off on the sale, forged documents,
Never happens.
liens from contractors, taxing entities or previous lenders, encroachments, and improperly recorded documents.
In my 17 years of writing loans, I've seen almost every one of those things come around.
Absolutely.
Don't want any of that type of protection as a buyer, do you? And by the way, as a realtor or a lender that recommends this non-title policy transaction, just wait for the pending lawsuit when something does go sideways, because I guarantee it's going to happen. Now for the good, yet extremely ironic part of this story.
Of the 1.15 million loans purchased by Fannie in 2022, a grand total of 45 of these were AOLs. Or to put it another way, of the 1.15 plus million loans purchased by Fannie Mae, less than 4/1,000th of 1% use this program.
It's a misguided, poorly planned, downright bad idea of a program that fell flat on its face, much to the betterment of everybody in housing. Less than 4/1,000th of 1%. Now, the only thing you could really say here, guys, and we have to laugh at this because there's really no other option on the table, but as a lender or a realtor, I'd steer clear of this ill-begotten, little oft-used program, because nothing good is going to come of it from you or your clients. I'll tell you one other thing I was thinking of. If you have a break of the chain of title, and when a deed is transferred from one entity to another entity, if there's a break there, nobody's going to buy those loans. So even if you get this program to save $1,000 up front, you're not going to be able to sell the house. And if you do sell the house, you're going to take a haircut that's going to be so significant, you're going to feel like you were giving misguided and bad information from your realtor and your lender, because this is not well thought out. Much more or less depressing news, depending on how you look at it. Was just on a call with a mortgage company a few moments ago, and we were talking about assistance and how everyone is downsizing right now and nobody wants to get rid of their assistance. The question is, Joanna, do people really need assistance?
Usually, probably not.
When your average loan officer is doing a deal or two per month, maybe, and your average realtor is doing less than one side of a transaction per month, maybe, 500,000 of you agents didn't do a single transaction last year. Do you really need assistance? I think it really appeals to people's vanity.
Of course it does.
So if we want to become the greatest communicators, and with agents, would you say communication is at the top of the list of things that pisses them off when things go wrong in a transaction?
Absolutely.
Is that what you dealt with?
Absolutely.
Totally. Okay, so on a transaction, if we want to be the greatest communicators, I'm a loan officer. Who do I need to call, Joanna?
Well, your borrower.
Okay, borrower number one, check.
Buyer's agent.
Check.
Listing agent.
Check.
Probably nobody else, but make sure you're communicating with your escrow team.
Let's say appraiser. Why would you contact them every day? Check. Whole house inspector? No, but we'll check. We'll put that one in there. But maybe your underwriter or your team who's processing your loan? Check. Okay, so on any given transaction, we have four people, four groups, entities that you might need to contact once or twice in the transaction. And 3, that if you contacted them every day, the buyer and both agents, you'd be the greatest communicating loan officer that the world has ever known. Now, each one of these calls are frankly going to be met with voicemails, so back everything up with a text message, a voicemail message, and an email every single day. You contact these 3 people and just let them know nothing's going on or something's going on. Each one of these calls at tops would take 5 minutes. So if you have 4 transactions, you need to contact 3 people. That's going to be 12 minutes per. If you have 4 transactions, what we're going to get here is we're going to get 48 minutes, less than an hour. Time block 2 hours. Go hog wild with this. Nothing's more important than your communication. If you time block 2 hours, you would be the greatest communicator the world has ever known as a loan officer, and you would have absolutely no need for an LOA. Frankly, if you did 8 transactions, you could double this and you would still be under your 2-hour time block, right?
Well, yeah.
Now, when you were working with real estate agents in all the different capacities that you've done, when you did the home warranties in the middle of summer, it's 110, and something breaks down, how long do those conversations generally go with the agents and with the borrowers and with the HVAC company?
With the borrowers, it's a long conversations because they really want to share their frustrations with you.
All right, so how long? Just ballpark.
An hour.
An hour, okay. So how many of these calls would you take a day?
Oh, well, the hour-long ones, we hope we didn't have so many of them, but I was probably on 40 or 50 different phone calls a day dealing with service stuff in the peak of the heat.
40 or 50 phone calls per day, some of which could take upwards of an hour. So this was nonstop on the phone.
Nonstop.
How many assistants?
1.
You had 1 assistant. So you and 1 other person. So you break it up 25 phone calls each. And this isn't even talking about forward sales or anything. This is just talking about, sticking your thumb in the cracks in the dam type of thing to keep from flooding the town.
Exactly right.
You don't need an LOA. Get to 8 to 10 transactions before you hire a loan officer assistant. And if things are slower right now and you don't want to get rid of that loan officer assistant because they're your friend, I got news for you. This is your job. This isn't social hour. Carl White and the Marketing Animals. Well, Carl's got a new book out. It's called Loan Officer Champions. What it's doing, it's giving you a case study of the top producing loan officers in the country and what they're doing to succeed. Now, you can have this book free of charge, courtesy of the animals over there. All you got to do is click this banner right over there to check it out. Why wouldn't you? And folks might be asking why we have a thigh master up here, a thigh toner.
They might be wondering.
Okay, it's for you. Listen, it helps us when you forward this show. So the person who can prove that they forwarded the show to the most loan officers and realtors is going to win this almost new Thigh Master in this almost new box, and we're going to put other goodies in here. I'm not kidding you. We're sending it to you right now. If you forward this to more people than anybody else, all you have to do is CC us over here at info@mortgageshots.com. That's info@mortgageshots.com on all your CCs, and the winner is going to get this almost new Thigh Master with all the extra goodies in the box. With that said, my friends, have a great day. Let's see who gets this Thigh Master. I know I'm firming up for summer. What about you? Later, skaters.